Good. Home. Actually, it's good. Yeah. Good.
I'd like to call the Monday, May 5th workshop special meeting of the Village of Lake George Board of Trustees to order. It's 4:30. Approval of new hires. We are
Okay.
taking on some summer work as well as full-time year-round laborers. Crystal Frazier, beautification laborer, part-time seasonal. Mark Jacobs, beautification laborer, part-time seasonal. Scott Comstock, wastewater treatment plant laborer, full-time. Philip Rockwell, wastewater treatment plant laborer, full-time. Take a motion to approve these four.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Filomeno. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Joe. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. We had some vacancies on our zoning board and is it zoning board only, or did we get a planning board alternate?
All I have.
Oh,
is-
not yet. I don't think we got
all I
a,
have is
yeah.
these.
So these are ZBA appointments. John Ferrone as an alternate, Dan Woolfield, who has previously served on the planning board as a permanent member of the ZBA. A motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Mhm.
Ay, ay, ay.
OCAX request, Estra, the Empire State Towing and Recovery Association for $7,500. They're here every year, have been for the last 30. It's a great event. Brings a lot of people and, I'll take a motion to approve that or discussion.
Is that what they usually asking for, 75?
Some years it's 5, some years it's 75. One year it was 10. It depends on what their insurance and advertising has to go and who they're having as special guests. Sometimes they have different demos, so they cost a little more.
Yeah, if it's insurance, that's probably some difference.
Yeah,
Insurance is.
Could be. But they're a great group. Always
Oh,
on the
yeah.
up and up.
I just wasn't sure that statute of limitation that we had of, for repeating.
Nope, that doesn't exist.
So, Okay. Well, and I make that motion to approve their request of $7,500 of back.
Motion by trustee Joe. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Mike Mentor. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Before we get into transfers and audits, we had a late addition, actually two. I will bring you up to date verbally on the other. This was a last minute for the Lake George High School alumni fundraiser. What, you got the details on this? I got it like last minute myself.
Just what's in the email down here. They're looking to have our guys.
Oh,
the
coning off the
DPW
parking
cone off
spot.
the 3 parking spots in front of the restaurant on Canada Street. It allows the donors to drive up to the restaurant with where the alumni can bring out their to-go dinners. So it's about 100 dinners, total 20 to 30 cars in total over 2 hours. I've never experienced any problems. Of course, as you pointed out, the access to the curb on Canada Street could be limited depending on the progress. If the spaces in front of the restaurant are not accessible on Thursday, they'd like to reroute pickup to Iroquois Street. However, if they reroute to Iroquois, there's no parking spaces on the street to block off. Instead, they'd have alumni present to ask drivers to pull over to one side as to not block traffic.
Well, hopefully. Well, it doesn't look like the paving is gonna get completed this week. Or else they would have started today. I see no issue with this. We did it in the past and it was,
It's this Thursday.
yeah, and non-existence of interference with,
There's not much going
there's
on.
not a lot going on. So I'll make a motion to approve their request, if someone will second it.
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Mastro Domenico. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. The last thing before we do transfers and audits is We all are aware we're not going to get into construction until September for the bandstand. And in discussion with trustee Joe as well as trustee Philomeno, we talked about purchasing a tent. Or at least long-term lease of a tent with a band shell valance in tan rather than stark white, which is super bright. Utilizing occupancy tax funds, a limit is 20,000 without having go to an RFP. We are just under that at 19,000 with the lowest bid. The others were, I think, 26 and 23. I will get them all to you. I would just like to conditionally approve this because they're building the tent as we speak, and it will be ready for installation the second week of June, which might be good for graduation if they decide to have it, if the school decides to have it at the park like they've asked to in the past.
Right.
I think it'd be good to get this approved and ready. It is $19,700, so it just goes under the $20,000 threshold of us just having to get 3 quotes. So we get 3 quotes. This happens to be the lowest, but we also have the ability to spend more based on working with a company or our history with another company, and this happens to be both the lowest bidder and the company that we work with, which is Entertainment One. So we would own this tent in the end of it. We would be able to not rent a tent for the future, when we do the overlook on the other portion of the DRI projects where we take the roof off the Shepherd Park bathrooms and make it an overlook terrace. Could be utilized there, could be utilized yearly for our annual community days, which will be coming up. We won't have the tent by then. But in other places, we could also rent it in the event someone wants to use it in Wood Park. Anywhere it's applicable, we would have it. It's a commercial grade 10,
Yeah, real quick, what are the dimensions?
30 by 40.
And that just covers the stage?
It covers the entire improved surface that's currently there.
Does it come with walls?
It does. Comes with
3 or
clear,
3 wall?
clear 3 walls. There's a fourth we would have, but we wouldn't likely use it. We're getting all of the both gable ends, the regular gable like you'd see for every tent. This band shell valance is sort of a swooping outlying. It looks like a band shell basically. It makes a lot of sense. It's very, very pretty.
Roughly 20,000.
It is under
Nice
20,000.
meeting you.
Just under.
Yeah, I
Important.
mean, you'd be spending $4,000 to $5,000 per rental.
6,800.
At the end, yeah.
We're
so-
generating that
Each
revenue
month.
on the other side,
Yeah,
which
and where it could be generated.
will happen.
Yeah.
Almost certainly, so
And
I like it.
the Entertainment One who would be getting us their deep discount that they get from the manufacturer would be on board to set it up for us, rather than have our men be tasked with it. It's a little bit more complicated. Maybe they could learn, but I think it's better to have a professional tent company do that. And
Is that
they're-
included in the cost?
it's the setup and takedown of this year is included in the cost.
I think eventually we'll be able to figure it out, but
Sure. Given enough exposure, but I wouldn't want us
Yeah,
to
yeah.
jump in with both.
of course
feet.
not, of course not.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I will take a motion to approve the purchase of the band shell valance 30 by 40 tent.
I will make the motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Mentor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Philomeno. I think it puts us in very good shape for this summer season, and it's gonna look a lot classier. I'm also going to reach out to our friends at Garden Time to get a matching tan shed to store some of the Lake George Community Band's equipment in, or some of it's gonna be the schools, which we'll have to get in double indemnification for that after our history. For the heavier items like the timpani drums and cymbals and chimes and, yeah.
Would you do me a favor that before we vote on it, just shoot Allison an email and let her know that we were talking about this, so she knows. Just for giggles, because it's just something that, you know.
Well, we've spoken.
Oh, you
verbally
talked to
about it,
Allison?
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I just want to make sure she's in the loop, so,
Mhm.
you know, she doesn't feel these meetings are being,
No, no,
Okay.
never. Nope.
I know that's not the intention, but,
Mhm.
you know, just everything up.
Gotcha. No, I'm
You
with you.
talked to, okay, great.
All right, so there's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Transfers and audits, they are on the sheet before you.
There's the reason that you have a sheet is because there were some changes. We were actually able to go in and pay a couple of other ones that we wanted to, so the totals changed. That's all that changed on it.
Oh, from the last month?
Yeah,
Or
you'll
last
see
meeting.
in the general, you'll see in the general and the water. That's it.
Gazebo.
These ones,
Yeah, what's the gazebo?
the geese, I don't know what you call it, the gazebo, it's not, it's
Oh.
Shepherd Park.
Oh,
Motion to approve the transfers and audits.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Master Domenico. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Price chopper. How you doing? Good. What you got?
The last thing I was asked to come back for the last two weeks.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Just the pop-up that you got?
Yeah, the 8x8 or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I think it looks good out
I
there.
think it's great. I was just there yesterday, actually. Think it's good, keeps the briquettes dry. Makes the place look welcoming.
As long as the wind doesn't steal it.
I missed the red box.
Stop.
Stop. Stop and get a Netflix
She
membership.
also gets credit. She was our Crime Stopper. A couple weeks ago,
For what? Oh,
the gentleman.
yeah. The, guy from Plattsburgh.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, the one that was on the run.
The troopers come up, they're like,
Oh, geez.
I'm just sweeping, and they're like, you see anybody sketching? I'm like, just the pothead coming out of the garage. Like, what's he wearing? And I'm like, you know, whatever. And all of a sudden, like, everybody's like landing on top of us.
They were staging at Nordics. There were about 20 cop cars
I
at
saw
Nordics.
that.
I was
I
out
drove
of town.
by.
My brother called me. He was like, so
I drove by, I saw Chris walking
what's
outside.
going on?
Yeah,
Oh, no, it's crazy.
well, I'm glad the consolidated efforts of the sheriff's department and the state police got that. And I would like to thank our chief, because I reached out to him and he put a message out to all of the fire department members through our I am responding system, which just to make people aware, figure more eyes are better than one, and that was Jim that helped us out with that, so thank you, chief. Okay, so yeah, do we need a motion for that? Motion to approve the use of a or no bigger than a 12x12 pop-up?
If you want to, no, because I don't think that was in. the
It's 10 by 10, but it's, I don't think it's in the ordinance. It's far enough from the street, but we'll do it just for safety's sake.
Jim didn't have any, I don't think,
Jim Aganos had nothing.
nothing
to do
really,
with it.
he just said to come in and approach us,
Yep,
so.
just get an approval. So is that
He
a
did
motion?
that. and
It's a motion
next
to approve
motion.
right there. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Did we approve transfers and audits? Or did I? Yeah, we did that, right?
Yep.
Let me make sure we got.
I think we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tim and Keith, I know you got something. We're reallocating an employee from the wastewater treatment plant to the DPW. Because we had two applicants, one with wastewater treatment experience that we tried to hire last year. Came back, and another one has his CDL, so two CDL drivers, Darren Ross, who's a good employee, has been for 10 years. 10 years, just, we feel like he'd be a better fit at DPW. He's a good equipment operator, but he doesn't have a CDL or the desire to get it, and we kind of need that up there. But we want to keep him employed, and we appreciate his time with us and want to see it continue just under another umbrella. Did I sum that up?
Perfect.
Okay,
Starting what date?
tomorrow,
Or was
no, the 7th, right?
That time of year.
Yeah, the 7th.
Can you start right now?
Can you start yesterday? Yeah, payroll starts as
And we have a full-time position at the
we do,
the
we
forum?
do,
Yeah,
actually,
at the other department? Okay.
haven't filled it in a year.
Okay,
So yeah, we've got it, and we're building a very strong backbone to our workforce that we're gonna be less reliant on part-time seasonals and definitely less reliant on the state second chance system,
right.
so. I'll take a motion to approve that. I don't think we need that, but
It doesn't hurt to.
it doesn't hurt to do it.
No.
Motion to approve the transfer of Darren Ross from the wastewater treatment plant to the DPW.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Mastro Domenico, seconded by trustee Mentor.
Let's start tonight.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Chief, you got anything?
Not at this time.
Okay. Got everything worked out with the property owner adjacent to those parking spots. I still wouldn't mind that copy of that official letter of request.
Well, you're supposed to write stuff and then let it sit for a day and then visit it, and it didn't sound nearly as good as it did. Corrections will be made shortly.
Okay, appreciate it. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, continuations for our last meeting. I called Allison, I spoke to Allison today. Yeah, she unfortunately couldn't make it. She gets out of work at 4:30.
Mhm.
She couldn't make it here on time, but I covered the issue and her topic of healthcare.
Mhm.
And moving down, and I asked her if she'd like me to wait, because I felt comfortable she was here. She said no. We spoke about it. She's comfortable with it if we brought it up for a vote. I
Okay.
spoke to her this afternoon and I spoke with Mike. Also, today, I just want to make sure everyone was on the same page. I didn't, as Joe was saying earlier, I didn't feel comfortable bringing it up unless I spoke with her prior.
Mhm.
But I did speak with her this afternoon
Okay.
and she said she'd have no issue with me bringing it up
The
tonight.
Now by saying healthcare for what?
clarification of that is, years ago, probably, I want to say, what year is it? 25, so 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, what was it?
Let's see, 2009 when I ran it, so it'd been about 2011.
Yeah, that's about right. The village board had decided not to offer any newly elected officials, and now that somewhat, if you read into it, with a gap in employment, it could be worded to include myself, because although I did not have a gap of employment, I was a newly elected mayor, but I had not lost an election.
A position.
Position,
seated.
so, we want to clean up a local law stating that, but also reinstituting the option for trustees to partake in the health insurance program that we have, which has a very big cushion in the budget, and it's not gonna affect this year's budget by allowing the three newly elected, I guess, since then, because Joe would be grandfathered into participating in our health insurance program at
So it would be for all elected officials.
all elected officials. So we'll clean that up and we'll
At what percentage? At the
at
same-
20% contribution, which should pretty much wipe out all of your salaries.
Unless you got family, then it's.
Unless you're family, then you gotta pay like I did,
Yeah,
about
I did.
$125 a quarter. But if, it,
And then IMED,
and well, IMED is always good.
yeah, but that was also an extra at the time.
Yeah.
Because,
So that's the clarification of that, and seeing as how we pay our trustees $9,000 a year, I think, $8,000, $9,000 a year, 10 for deputy mayor. And the town board's paying theirs twice as much. I think it's a good consolation for the village to allow the trustees to participate in health insurance. So I will put that in the form of a motion, and I'll take a second.
I'll
Should be
second,
Joe.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye.
Okay, so that means we're gonna be changing the handbook.
The handbook.
to-
I don't
to-
think it's
to
a
reflect
local
the
law. I
thing.
think it's the
No,
handbook.
yeah, it's the handbook.
We can do that with a motion, not
Mhm.
a
Okay.
local law. So we'll approve the official wording of that, rewriting of that portion of our handbook, on the 19th. That sound fair to everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I think that covers everything. Anyone have anything else? Tim shook his head, so since Tim shook his head, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
So ordered, adjourned. That's a nice relax.